Here are 5 of my favorite makeup tips to help you and your makeup look good all day long. Hi, I'm Dawn from Just Doing My Best. I am so glad that you're here today. I'm 56 and I have oily skin. So these tips are not necessarily about what you use, but how you use them. But I will have everything that I'm using linked down in the description below. Over in the corner, you should see a down arrow. Click that, it will expand, and you can find everything down in the description. I'm starting out with a makeup primer. If you've never used an under makeup primer, I love them. And I really suggest, especially if you have mature skin or textured skin, that you look for a blurring and a smoothing primer. There are a lot of primers out there. First thing, what a primer does is it just gives your makeup something to stick to. It gives it staying power so it stays in place and looks good all day long. As we're getting older, a blurring and smoothing primer is really what you want to look for. There are a lot of gripping primers, which are fantastic, but a blurring and smoothing primer just really helps smooth the surface, smooths the fine lines, the textures, the pores. I love the way it helps your makeup to look better and smoother. But let's be honest. Here's my caveat. Again, 56, wrinkles, age spots, texture, all of the things. Nothing is going to help 100%. But if you have not used a blurring and smoothing primer, I think you'll be shocked at how well they work. Today, I'm using the one from Rare Beauty. And one of my other favorites is one of the original blurring and smoothing primers, and it's the Photo Finish from Smashbox. Both of these are a little pricier, but I want you to know you need so little of this. You literally need the size of a pea, and that will do your entire face. And that's it. Tip number 2 is a cream blush, but not only a cream blush, we're going to apply the cream blush before concealer, then we're going to set the cream blush with a powder blush. The reason that works is because just like oftentimes when we apply concealer, we set it with a powder to keep it in place. Same thing with the blush, and blush tends to be the first thing that fades on us as the day goes on. So if you saw this video here, and I will also link it at the end, one of the other benefits to applying your cream blush, then applying concealer, doing more of your makeup, then setting that cream blush with a powder blush is it will help you look about 10 years younger. I'm telling you, this tip is gold. My third tip is about setting powder. And by the way, one of my favorite setting powders is the Morphe Bacon Set. I love this. Super affordable, and it is my favorite setting powder. We're going to go back to blush in just a second. But if you're setting your makeup with setting powder, do not forget your eyelids. If your eyelids are super oily like mine, once you set your under eye, also just set your eyelids. I'm going to put some on my forehead just to set that. And you may not like to use setting powder, but again, I have super oily skin. So for me, setting powder is a must. So I just pack it on my brush, tap off the excess. I've already powdered underneath my eyes and around my nose, my T-zone, my forehead, but don't forget the eyelids. I'm going to go back and set my cheeks with the powder blush in just a second. And I know that I said this wasn't going to be about particular products, but if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Just Doing My Best, I also share a lot of makeup tips and some of my favorite makeup products and things that I'm trying. And I often get asked, about eye makeup that stays put. My favorite eyeliners are these, and I think they're about $5. They're the Essence Stay and Play Gel Eyeliner, and I have them in 4 colors. These are waterproof and long-lasting, but they do come off with soap and water. These are so good. The one thing that you need to know is if you're like me, I tend to want to do one eye, then I'll do the other, and then I might manipulate it a little bit, smudge it in, work with it, see what I want to do. These dry down so quickly and they stay in place. They're so long lasting that you need to work very fast. So I recommend that you apply it on one eye, manipulate it, smudge it, whatever you want to do before you move on to the other eye. $5. You cannot go wrong with these. Trust me, you can thank me later. Tip number 1 was under makeup primer. Tip number 2, cream blush. Now we're going to set it with the powder blush. Tip number 3, powder your eyelids, especially if you have oily eyelids like I do. We'll move on to tip number 4 in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and set that cream blush with a little bit of powder. I love the youthful look that this gives your skin and your makeup, and your blush will last all day long. Tip number 4 is to apply a setting spray, but I'm not quite ready to add it just yet. But I love a great setting spray, and it just locks everything in place. This is a newer one to me. I will link it down in the description. So far, really enjoying it. But before I add a setting spray, I like to line my lips first, and I like to line the entire lip. Make sure it's blended in really well. Then that setting spray really locks it in, and I've got a better chance of having my lips look good all day long. I hope you found those tips helpful to keep you looking gorgeous all day long. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you'd subscribe, like this video, watch this video next for another super simple makeup tip. Go out today and be blessed and do your best.